name's Chayse. I am 43 years old and I was born in Lexington, Kentucky.
And how long were you homeless for?
26 years.
And what would you say were the key events or the events that kind of led to your homelessness?
I watched my mom murdered when I was 4. And my dad went to prison when I was 5, and I ended up with my grandparents. And my grandmother, right after Thanksgiving, she had left a can of Crisco on the stove and went to sleep with the stove on, and the house caught on fire. We found out that she had a tumor at that point, and she passed away like 2 weeks later, and that's still like 2 weeks before Christmas. Back then, they didn't really do like the background checks and stuff like that for people. They just was kind of like, oh, if you'll take them, take them. The one home that was really abusive that I got put at when I was 10, I was there for a year before anything was done about that situation. So I left. I ran away a couple of times, and each time I would jump a train illegally, and they would find me states away and ship me back. But when I got emancipated when I was 16 is like when I left. And I left the same method. It wasn't until A Hope put the possibility that in my head that housing was an option, that things kind of got different for me. When I went to jail for my 3rd probation violation, Luke came and saw me in jail and told me that my name was up on the list and that they were going to get me housing, and that it didn't matter if I had to do some jail time before I got out. Like, they wasn't going to move me off that list. Like, as soon as I was out of jail, they were going to find me housing. I knew at that point that I didn't want to be homeless anymore, and I knew at that point that I didn't want to be on drugs anymore. And I remember when my lawyer came and talked to me, she was like, well, we can get you out of here. You've already done 90 days here. And I said, no, like, I don't want you to let me leave. I told her that I wanted drug court. And I knew that if I had left jail that I'd go back to being homeless. So I called my case manager and the housing specialist and asked them to show up with me at the showing. And they did, and looked at the house, and we talked to him about it. And I was like, so this is what it is. And they explained the program to him. And he was very open to the idea. So they did what they did, and I got to move in.
And how's life been so far here?
Really good. I like it. I like my neighborhood. It's peaceful, and it's a good place for people that are in recovery. I have a lot more room here, so I'm able to like do yoga. I'm able to meditate. I'm able to have my sponsor and my friends over, and my dog has a backyard. It's a whole different experience than living in an apartment. And for somebody that hasn't really had their own house, like ever, it's a huge difference. But I like it. I like it a lot. One of my past traumas is I don't feel safe when I'm by myself. I've had a lot of abuse in my life. I've had people break into my house on a couple of different occasions, or the place I was staying, or tent, or whatever the case may be. But I've had people attack me while I'm sleeping. And being here, I've been able to start to kind of deal with some of those traumas that's really, really like led to me using and being homeless, or at least kept me out in that lifestyle for a while.
What's something you feel comfortable or safe enough to do now that you didn't feel like you didn't do before?
Sleep. Sleep. That's probably the biggest thing. I feel safe to sleep today. I know that when I go to sleep, I'm not going to be attacked. And that's something that I've not really been able to do my entire life, is to go to sleep and know that I'm safe. I didn't even know what the word safe was until I got clean.
What's something that you feel like now you can kind of pursue while you have this stability and this feeling of safeness?
Oh, I'm definitely pursuing my college. I'm getting my associates in human services. This is my first year. So I want to eventually help people transition from homelessness and addiction into housing and recovery. Homelessness is one thing, but when you add addiction on top of it, it's a whole different ballgame. If the things that I've been through in my life can be avoided by somebody else, can save somebody else's life, then it was worth going through. So, like, if I can share that experience and help somebody avoid those situations, then it was worth me going through that situation. Everything that I went through made me the person I am today. And I like the person that I am today. And I went through some really, really crappy stuff. But I think the only message that I would give myself is just hang in there, that it does get better. People tell me all the time, like, you've grown so much. And I'm like, I don't really think so. But I guess, I don't know, I'm not really sure what the whole definition of that is. So I wrote a story about how I view the world for my English class in college. And I used this line in there that said that I was in a seamlessly dark tunnel. And it was that way for a really, really long time in my life. Like, when I say seamlessly dark, like no lights. When you're homeless and you're outside and it's a day-to-day routine, you're forgotten about. And it gets to the point to where you don't even have hope that something different will happen. The only thing that you hope is that you can make it through the day and survive. But it wasn't until I put the possibility in my head that there could be a chance that I could have housing that things changed for me. That's when hope became a possibility for me, and that light at the end of the tunnel came on.